Well, welcome to Established. We are calling this COVID Conversations because we're in the midst of a global pandemic called COVID-19. And we're excited about today. I'm excited about today because we have two special guests. I want to introduce yourselves to our massive audience.
Yeah, I'm Greg Brooks, and this is my wife, Lauren Brooks.
Awesome. Tell us a little bit about yourselves. If people don't know you, what's important for them to know about you?
We are a big family.
That's right.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not really sure. Even when BB called us to do this, I thought he asked us because it wasn't because of our parenting wisdom. It was just because of the sheer number of kids we had.
That's one of them.
We're thinking we can get 1 out of 6 to do well, and we
That's
feel like
right.
the odds are pretty high for at least one of those.
That's what we're hoping for.
Yeah,
At least.
That's all of our prayer. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, we are going to dive into a question that I think is going to be so beneficial for everyone listening and watching. But in the midst of the chaos, really, that we're in, maybe it doesn't feel like that here. Maybe it always feels like that here for 6 kids.
Yeah.
But what is the best and then what is the worst part of being like quarantined?
I would say the best part is the extra family time that we have.
Awesome.
With the 6 kids, we are constantly chauffeur, practices, games, I mean, you name it. And so not having anything in the evenings has, to me, just created a more laid-back family time.
Awesome.
The worst part about this...
I got that one. Yeah, so the worst part, I think, has been about this is that we have so much extended family time.
No.
So it's kind of a 2-for-1 thing. It's both in and the same.
The school from home has been difficult for our family, yes.
I can only imagine.
Yes.
Yeah, so we have preschool all the way through 8th grade. And so trying to navigate each of their schooling in different age groups, different levels of education, trying to do all that's been really challenging at times.
So our ages are 5, 7, 9, 11, 12, and 14. And so we have 8th grade down to preschool.
Yeah.
And preschool did send work from home. So we have had 6. And so dividing our attention between those has been interesting.
So do you feel like a move from the medical field into teaching?
Yeah, so I'm a nurse, and so I now know my official calling is nursing. I do teach at Brenau, but it's with adults that can pay attention and not small children.
I hear you.
Yeah.
Wow.
I just learned what parallel was and perpendicular. I learned that all over again. Some stuff about World War II from Cole, so I'm learning a little, it's kind of neat. Yeah.
I mean, the benefits.
I know.
You're being educated again.
I am. Fractions, like who knew? So that's been fun.
Common Core math or whatever it's called.
Yeah, it's
that
ridiculous.
was a change. Yeah, I'm like, let's do it the way I learned it, okay? Because I can still add and subtract.
That's amazing. Well, it's good. I'm glad that you're still here. You're still sane. You still seem like you have everything going well in life. One of the main questions I wanted to ask y'all, and not just because you have 6 kids, but because I believe that you're amazing parents, and I feel like in this time, because there's so much more family time, you're just kind of trapped in your house, even with all the restrictions being lifted. One of the biggest struggles I feel like I've had conversations about is parents leading their families, not just in teaching them at school, but also in like the spiritual life. So what would be your advice to parents on how to lead their family during this time?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think for us, early on, we just decided that we were going to let COVID turn into chaos in our home. And so school was changing, friends were changing, access of places you could go were changing, sports schedules were changing. The kids had so much in their life changing. Yeah. We would just determine in our home, we didn't want our home to change. Because we felt like it provided a place of stability to where they knew what they were going to get every time they were at home. Yeah. And so even though the crisis took place, the pandemic is going on, every news report's out there, kids are asking questions, we just decided we're going to continue to remain consistent in who we are and not change that. Wow. So we've got a consistent schedule. We've got consistent boundaries, expectations of the kids. And one of the other things that I think that we've done really well, especially Lauren has done really well, is that our time with the kids has just being at home with them isn't having time with them. Yeah. And so we've had to be really intentional to go, hey, we've been home with them all day, but we haven't been with them all day. Yeah. So we're still taking time away to go, hey, we're going to sit down and have dinner together and have conversations. Yeah. We're going to go in the backyard and play flag football. We're going to do some things. Even though we're home with them, we still need to be with them. And so we just decided that's just who we are and what we're going to continue to do.
It's amazing.
I think they like that consistency. Going from a schedule at school to now a free-for-all at home, we kind of made a schedule, so to speak. Now, flexibility was key because, I mean, I'm not a stickler for time. So it was more like, this is how the day is going to go. This will be our free time. This will be the time, you know, if we want to go play horse or we want to go play flag football, go to the creek. Doing some things like that, where we allowed that time to be built in. And then also we've had some quiet time where it's like, all right, guys, I want you to go, because I mean, again, they're all over the place. It's a lot. So they have some little quiet time, alone time where they kind of can spend, and then we can kind of come back together and do an activity.
And I think one of the things that as adults, sometimes we as parents get almost convicted that the kids are home, we should be with them all the time. Well, the reality is, if you're with them and resentful, it's going to show. So create some space for you to go, hey, we're going to have an hour or two of alone time in your rooms to learn how to entertain yourself. Parents are going to pull away, and we're going to go read a book. We're going to sit on the back porch. We're going to catch up and breathe, and then we can re-engage. But if you allow yourself to be forced into engagement all day, by the end of the day, you're resentful. You're like, just get in bed because I don't want to talk to you anymore, you know? And so I think we just have kind of made that as a boundary for us to go, we're going to have quiet time, and we're going to have to teach the kids how to do that, so that we don't go crazy.
That's awesome. Do you feel like, what do you hope stays the same that wasn't normal coming out of this?
That's a great question. I think for us, you know, although this will be without a doubt an historic thing, our kids and their grandkids will look back on one day and say COVID-19 and how it changed and revolutionized their world. But I don't think this is the first or the last time of chaos in their life. So I think what we've been able to do is provide hope in the middle of that for them. So that when they have a hurt in their life, they have a pain, something changes, drastically changes. Because the home was stable and because God was stable and faithful, they're going to be able to point back to COVID-19 and go, that was a time of faith. That was a time where we saw my mom and dad not get worried about job loss. Awesome. They didn't get worried about losing stuff in life. They can remain consistent in their faith and in their promises to our family and to spending time with us. So I'm hoping the thing that remains the same is the joy and the hope that has been in the faith that's been instilled in this time. Because what they saw was like friends and family and news reports of job loss and people dying and wearing masks everywhere and all this stuff. And it's like, in the middle of that kind of chaos, my parents, because of their faith in Christ, were able to be consistently who they were and didn't allow their circumstance to change who they are. So my hope for them is beyond this, the next crisis they experience personally, they can look back and go, I can be consistent in the middle of crisis.
Right. I think just teaching them that there is change. So we have one preschool that's supposed to graduate preschool. Then we had one in 5th grade going up to 6th grade. Then we had one in 8th grade going up to 9th grade. So for all 3 of our boys, it was kind of a big, you know, like some little stepping stone, so to speak. And I think too, just talking through them, that things change, life can change, but that our faith doesn't change. Our home doesn't change. We're still consistent in our home, despite what is going on around us. That's the big,
I think that's one of the most valuable things as parents that you can do, regardless of what's going on, is be that constant factor as you model who Jesus is. And he's never changing. And he's always the same. And he is the hope in the darkness. And that's what this season, even as it's kind of opening up, has felt like in moments, is darkness. Because some people don't want to be trapped in their home.
Right.
And there's kids that don't want to be locked away with their parents. But the hope would be that parents, you would feel the call to model Jesus and to model consistency and hope and love. And that's, I love your point. I love what you just shared. Is there anything else you would like to?
Yeah, I think in modeling Jesus, he also had a human nature to him. And I think parents need the freedom to operate in their humanity at times too. And so being able to go, hey, we're going to have faith, we're going to have hope, but we're going to pull away together and let's prayerfully seek God because we're worried, we're scared. We get the fear, but I think we've got to free ourselves up to be human at the same time that we're being faithful Christians, so that we don't fall trapped to the fact that, you know, the guilt and the shame and all the condemnation that you got to be on the mountain all the time. That's just not life, you know. And we want our kids to see
forgiveness.
Yeah.
I've had to ask for forgiveness. I mean, we are not by any means perfect parents, and there's been times where it's been like, oh, I was wrong in how I reacted to my child. And so I've learned too a little bit of humility. Hey, Maddie, you know, didn't quite respond right. Mom is sorry. This is how I should have said it. So I think even for for me as an adult, it's kind of opened my eyes. I want my kids to see me ask for forgiveness to them, because I'm not perfect and I mess up, and I want them to see that mommy's not perfect, but I'm, we're trying. And
I let Lauren apologize for me too, so I don't ever have to. It's wonderful.
It's hard to apologize to your kids. Yeah, it's hard admitting to your children you're wrong.
But I think when you're with them as much as you are,
right
to have
now,
the heart of humility, to be able to go, hey, listen, you know what? I messed that one up, man. I'm a little edgy right now. I'm sorry I did that.
This season's taught me a lot about why when I come home sometimes from work, my Lauren is ready.
Yeah, for sure.
Blow up.
Yeah.
Because we got a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old, and I'm sometimes like, I'm going to have to just step outside, and I don't want y'all to follow me.
No doubt. And I think as a
we
dad,
call that parent timeout. So I took a parent timeout for 20 minutes. I was like, mommy's going to be in a room. I'm in timeout.
But I think it's important to us as dads to free the moms up to have that time. So sometimes we chalk our work up to, well, I'm providing. But if you're not providing for your wife the time that she needs, then you're not necessarily providing for the home in its entirety. And so I think it's really important to pull away from your work and go, hey, listen, for 30 minutes, even though I'm working from home, and I know sometimes I've used that excuse and shut my door, I'm working. I'm on a phone call. I can't do anything. Well, the reality is I can take 30 minutes a day and say, hey, babe, I know you need some time too. I'm going to close my office for 30 minutes, and I'm going to come engage with the kids so you can pull away.
That's good.
So I think those kind of things are super helpful.
Yeah.
Awesome. One more thing we've done that I kind of liked, and we did it with the older ones. Obviously, with a 1 and a 3-year-old, you can't sit them on a couch and ask them how it's going. But we took our 4 older ones, had them on the couch, and just kind of talked to them. How do you think this is going? What are you missing? You feeling in a certain way? And I think that was a helpful conversation, because just being honest, well, I'm a little upset that I can't finish 5th grade or go on his medieval times field trip. Well, I didn't know that. I didn't even, he hasn't really said anything. So sitting them down and just kind of having an open conversation. Well, mom's upset too. I can't go to Hobby Lobby. I totally get it. So sitting them down, it was actually neat to kind of find out, I think the older one the older girl missed her friends. The older one did not miss anything. So it was just hearing them kind of their point of view of what was going on. I think it was helpful for us.
And even sitting down like
engaging
technology.
with them.
The technology piece was big for us. We were not going to let technology take all their time.
Right.
And so we helped them with their help. We set boundaries on technology so they have a daily limit of that technology. Not that we don't want them to be relevant and be doing whatever else is doing and feel uncool, but the reality is, as an adult, we've got to navigate that. And so teach them now, while they have that access, how to do that, especially in the middle of a pandemic, where they could be easily excusable, but don't change who you are in the middle of what you're going through.
Right.
And I think so many people have done that, and it's now they're going to have to shift back on the other side of this thing, and the kids are going to be confused. Who are you? Which one are you?
Wow. That's good.
Yeah, it's fun.
Thank y'all so much for it. I feel like this video, you got so much good stuff to go with. So parents, we love y'all, and we're here for you. We're praying for you. We know that it can be tough at times, and that's okay. Give yourself grace, but continue to press into your kids' hearts, because they're the future, and we want the church to rise up, and we want young men and women to be established in who they are. And so,
absolutely.
Thank y'all so much for today.
Thank you.
Man. Thank you. It was fun.
Love y'all.